the danger.
Yep.
Time to find out.
Maximum effort.
Pressure.
Here it comes.
Now end this! Flawless victory.
And if that's not enough for you, they also posted this.
You want to see me do it again?
So here's today's debate. Is the White House showing military power on a global stage like never before? Or actually, are they behaving like a nation that's not particularly serious? Let's now speak with the spokesperson for Republican Overseas UK. That's Erol Morkoc, and the former Financial Times journalist and the author, Alan Friedman. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Erol, let's start with you. Hundreds of millions of views. They're certainly getting people talking. They're displaying the most phenomenal military might in history. But is this really the best way to do it?
Well, the best way, or perhaps the millennial way. I think we have a change in demographics, change in generation. The generation before us would get a bunch of serious people together in suits and ties, and they would all go and sign their names on bombs with Cheshire grins for their propaganda videos. So the fact that a bunch of 23, 24-year-old Gen Z interns underneath millennials sort of a change of tactic, let's say, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't trivialize it as much as it speaks to the change in the entire media segment. But I go back to the fact that prior generations did it in a more solemn way. We're doing it with AI and some more jokes. In the end, the American people do find it humorous. I woke up to about 10 or 15 different groups sending me these videos like, oh, I can't believe it again. So part of it is part of the gamesmanship and the fact that there is a group of 23 to 24-year-old interns who do run this account kind of devoid of any oversight.
Alan Friedman, you've written a book called The End of America. Does this kind of social media treatment feed into that? This isn't a serious way to conduct itself.
You could call it an end of America gallows humor, if you wish, because the American empire is being destroyed and American credibility being destroyed by Donald Trump. Remember, when you have a malignant narcissist as the president of the United States, who has elements of psychopathy and also sadism in his taste. He loves to go on television. Yesterday, he did it again and say, there are people walking around whose faces have been bashed in and her legs are blown off. This is Donald Trump. He revels, has always reveled in violence. He's the man who incited the January 6th violent insurrection in Washington, D.C., and was indicted on criminal charges for that, and only got off because he got himself elected and got immunity from the Supreme Court. So no, this is not surprising, but it is shocking. Call me stuffy, call me old-fashioned, but I like my White House to be serious, sober, and not to take pleasure in cruelty and sadism. And this is not something millennials or Gen Z normal people appreciate. This is sick.
Erol.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but of course, we see things differently. And unfortunately for perhaps your side of the aisle, the American empire is not declining. The American empire is actually finding a very smart place. The last generation that spent decades in forever wars paid lip service to kindness. We gave a Nobel, excuse me, sir, I'm speaking. We gave a Nobel Prize to Barack Obama for peace. He went on to drone strike more than anybody ever, including a U.S. citizen. So the age of propaganda being lies and straight up cheats by the sort of former regime versus propaganda being constructed around sort of the tongue-in-cheek American exceptionalism, I think it does speak to the fact that you're from just a generation that doesn't get it. Because in our generation, we do get it, we see how it works, and it's not that offensive to us. It's offensive to you guys, but it's not offensive to us. And around the world, people our age, we enjoy it, we like it, and we're going to keep doing it. And you know how Donald Trump beat those charges? By getting elected by the American people.
This is not about boomers and millennials. This is about good taste or bad taste. This is about vulgarity. This is really, really horrid stuff that the White House is authorizing. It is indecent. It is not what the United States wants to represent itself to be in the world. Why is Donald Trump the most hated man in the world today? Because he is considered a violent bully.
You think Donald Trump is more hated than the Ayatollahs, the jihadists?
More hated than Andrew Mountbatten.
Well, I think that debate...
That seems kind of weird. That's like a weird
No,
perspective.
they have
I mean,
something in common.
you and people
Andrew
like
Mountbatten and
you
Donald
maybe
Trump
hate him.
have something in common. The name is Epstein.
Okay,
well,
well, this is not a serious conversation at this point. Let's go
You're the
on.
one who's
Gentlemen,
not being
just-
serious. You're a propagandist.
Gentlemen, let's
where
leave
are
it
you?
there.
You're on
Just like the
television.
gentlemen,
telling
time
the
please.
truth.
Just like the Iranian war, that escalated quickly. Thank you very much, Erol Morkoc, and thank you very much there to Alan Friedman. Well, we thought that'd be spicy, and by Jove, it was, with bells on top. Now, up next, we're off to the races.